Are COVID cases going up or trending down? Trying to figure it out can make your head spin. Tonight, we've got new evidence the triad's headed in the right direction and the pandemic's getting better. Let's dig into it. To figure out when we're going to get out of coronavirus and have some sort of normal, there are three key pieces to the puzzle we need to answer. I'm Ben Briscoe. From now until 6, we're going to dig into these questions to help you come up with an answer. Piece number one is, which way is COVID trending now? Down or up? It appears that we had a big win today as the number of cases is getting smaller. The state reported its lowest one-day number today since December. That's a long time, and doctors hope that that means that we are starting to get over that post-holiday Omicron surge. But there is a huge question about how much we can really trust these numbers. We know they are not totally accurate anymore, and here's why.
I'm not feeling well.
It used to be that if you were sick, like Hope, pretty much your only option was to drive to a testing site and find out if you had COVID. Those sites reported the results to the health department. But now the government is mailing out millions of at-home test kits. And if you've been in a pharmacy this month, you know folks are also buying up as many of the test kits as they can get their hands on. It is great to have that easy testing option. But those results from those tests done over at home don't always make it back here to the health department to be reported in the daily case counts. So, in fact, when Omicron was really surging, the Forsyth County Health Department actually asked people not to report their positive test results, saying staff was just too busy.
An individual, just reporting, hey, I have COVID. It's probably not the best time to do that, just because of the demands across the board for the health department.
It is hard for experts to get an accurate read on the pandemic from testing numbers, so now they're using a new tool to track the spread. Oh yeah, we're going there. Looking at what gets flushed down the drain. Researchers are testing your wastewater to see how much COVID spread is in the community.
I think the beauty of this particular program is that it detects SARS-CoV-2 in the wastewater, regardless of your symptomatic status or where you're at in the progression of the disease. And you don't have to be tested. It represents the entire community.
Not all states participate in the CDC wastewater testing program, but North Carolina is one of 13 that does. So what you want to see on this map are blue dots. That means COVID is going down. Check it out. Over the past 15 days, Guilford and Forsyth have both scored a blue dot, meaning we've had a dramatic decrease in the amount of COVID found in our water samples.
What we've seen is that it has been a predictor of what could be to come, the general trend. Whether we can say that we've peaked or not, I think is still in question. But what we can tell you is that the wastewater data is showing some slight leveling off and some declines.
So if we're on a downward trend, when can we start to loosen up restrictions and get life back to normal? Here's what Dr. Christopher Uhl from Atrium Wake Forest Baptist says.
I bet you, we're a week into February already, if you can believe that. By the end of the month, we'll be talking about doing things like that.
But don't get ahead of yourself. He says we still got to be careful now. And a Cone Health doctor also told us yesterday, people letting their guard down too soon is what caused some of our other coronavirus waves.
Simply means that we're making headway with the things that we've already initiated. Wearing our masks, keeping our distance, trying not to expose ourselves to people who might be high risk or people outside of our immediate family.
So now that we're headed in the right direction, the second question is, do we have the right tools to control the virus? To answer that, we need to dig into something really weird happening over in China this week at the Olympics. Even with their strict protocols and protections, dozens of athletes have tested positive inside the Olympic bubble.
I've already lost count of the number of times I've cried today.
That was Olympic figure skater from the U.S., Vincent Joao. His games are over now that he tested positive. He took the same precautions as everyone else too. All U.S. Olympic athletes need to be fully vaccinated. They had to submit to daily temperature reports for the 2 weeks before leaving for China. They also needed a negative COVID test 5 days before and then 3 days before again. Then when they got to China, they needed to take 2 more rapid tests at the airport. That's where the bulk of athletes who tested positive were found. Still inside the bubble, some cases have been found.
I'm supposed to stay here for another 7 days with 2 PCRs a day and no contact with anybody else.
A Belgium athlete who tested positive has one theory. Kim May Lemens told NPR she tested positive back in Belgium before the games and had recovered. She even had a negative rapid test before coming to China. But once inside the bubble, she says a more sensitive PCR test picked up that she was positive. Doctors say that people can test positive on a PCR test for up to 3 months, even though they aren't contagious.
We are not even sure I will ever be allowed to return to the village.
In short, the Olympics say they have the tools to control the virus, and it's working. So next up, here's what doctors say could be one of the last pieces of the puzzle. When can everyone have the ability to get vaccinated? Still, a lot of children can't. The good news, it looks like the vaccine may get approved for children between 6 months and 5 years soon. Pfizer ran trials for months trying to figure out the right dosage and study all the side effects. Dr. Uhl broke down the safety report for us. He says kids in the trial had a strong immune response to the vaccine. They got a dose that was 1/10 the size of the adults. He even said kids tolerated the shot much better than adults did.
There was absolutely no safety concern at all. There weren't any more adverse reactions. In fact, the kids tolerated it very well. If I had a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old, I'd go get them the 2 shots.
And that could happen soon. He expects the vaccine to be available by mid-March. Kids under 3 will have to get their shots at the pediatrician because North Carolina law says they can't get vaccinated at pharmacies. After digging into all of that today, our team took away that doctors believe they know more than ever about the puzzle that is coronavirus. We are on the right track, but we can't let our guard down because we've already suffered too much to go backwards. This weekend, the United States crossed more than 900 deaths from the virus. It is important to honor those lost. So as we head to break, here's funeral bells from the National Cathedral in D.C. They rang 900 times yesterday, each one marking 1,000 lives lost.